Welcome inside gaming people. Welcome to this new video. Today we're going to have a look at 4 games for the original Xbox that I hold, that I bought physically. And I'm going to tell you about it. I actually recorded a virtual reality video about the store where I bought it, which is Retro Games in Leipzig, in Germany. And yeah, I'm really happy that I did, because it reminded me on the good times when physical media was around in my childhood, when it was everywhere. CDs, DVDs, video games. And you went to those stores and you bought what you wanted to buy. Back then, by the way, it wasn't that easy for me to buy unlimited games, and they haven't been very cheap neither. But fortunately, today they are mostly. And it is an all-encompassing experience for me, because you're coming from the game store and you have your little booklet, and you're reading that booklet and you're getting amped and hyped for the video game that you just bought, and read the stuff that is written in there. And this was the experience, and this was fully worth it. Of course, that cost money, but not much. Today, 4 games that I hold, and I'm going to talk a little bit about them. Number 1, Yager, or Yager, from Yager Entertainment, a German studio that very sadly never did anything, as far as I know. They're still around, even. This is a game released by THQ and developed by Yager Development. And what is it? It's a flight game. It's a really good flight game, actually. You have a very futuristic spaceship in a brilliantly designed world, and a very intricately designed world. It plays in the future, it's fiction, of course, so the place where this place is not real or anything like that. And you have a craft that can hover or fly around, and you're fighting against basically space Nazis and pirates, etc. I played through this game when I was a kid, and I was blown away by the graphics. I can remember how I played this on a CRT monitor back then, which is a magic all on its own. And that's actually a thing that I'm looking out for at the moment. I'm looking for a CRT. But I don't want to buy a shitty one. I don't want to buy a small one. I want to buy a good one. It doesn't have to be humongous, but it should be good. So I'm not going to buy some random shitty one. This game comes highly recommended. And to be honest with you, it does exist on the PC. But it's such a pain in the ass, and the magic gets kind of lost, to be honest with you. Is this game backwards compatible? No, it isn't. You can only play that on the original Xbox. And I'm so happy that I have my OG Xbox. And I kept my Xbox 360, by the way. I skipped the Xbox One generation entirely. And yeah, I ended up with this really cool system, in my opinion. The OG Xbox and the Xbox 360. And it's great. I'm playing games like Project Gotham Racing 4 or so much other stuff I couldn't even tell you. Fable 2. You know, there's tons of stuff on all of my systems, and I am keeping so many systems. I can make another video about this if this is interesting for you. I have many handheld systems and many other systems from PlayStation and from Xbox. I'm neither nor, you can say. The main character is Magnus Tide here, which is also really cool. It's a really fleshed out character, and he has a love interest, which is the lady in the front, basically. You have the space Nazis, Magnus Tide and Sarah. It's a great game. It comes really highly recommended. Check it out if you like flight games that are a little bit arcadey, not really simulation. But with an edge. It's not easy, actually. It starts like as you would expect, like pretty, tame in a way. Like really easy missions. You're flying through gates. you are doing simple missions where you're like attacking stuff and just learning your ropes. The game is known to have some severe spikes. I'm right now in Bitterfeld, in the level that is called Bitterfeld. I just arrived there. And I do remember how painful that area of the game was. So there are spikes in the game, difficulty spikes. This is one of the negatives of Yager. But I'm really sad that it didn't take off and that it didn't get released on other consoles. I think there might have been some exclusive deal, but it doesn't have the exclusive only on Xbox thing on it. That is because it was released for the PC. Anyway, this is our game number 1. It's really, really, really very playable in 2025. Sorry, we have already 2025. It's super good. A German game that actually is really, really, really good. If you think about stuff like Golem, and then you look at stuff like this, then you have to applaud Yager. And I don't know why they do not make games anymore. Okay, game number 1 from Yager. And the game that is Yager. I played already a good bit of it. Like, that was amazing. The next one is a game from Deep Silver. And that is one that people don't talk about a lot. And I didn't put it into my console yet. Okay, but I do remember it so fondly. And this is Kingdom Under Fire: The Crusaders. This is actually a game where there have been a couple of games under the Kingdom Under Fire name. And this is one of them. And this is the one that I had, by the way. And you can see that back then, they loved to do that. It was pre-Web 3.0, okay? So the internet existed, but not in the form as we have it today. So it was very, very limited. There have been outlets, but YouTube, for example, was just getting birthed, basically, and it was super basic. I played this game single player back then, and it is a strategic kind of game. Only true heroes have the courage to, go against their fear. I'm like loosely translating from German. Sadly, I am in Germany. That means I am bound to German titles. And that is another thing that I will talk about. I usually consume my media in the form that it is, originally created in. Like, that means, for example, a role-playing game. I know it's synchronized in a way. It's, dubbed anyway. The English version is dubbed, of course. But the writing originally was in English. And often stuff gets lost in translation or gets absolutely, they destroy it in the translation in some cases. So I like to play my games originally. But for the sake of being able to go to a store, buy a game, and haul it back home, I decided to ignore it. And many games back then, they have been delivered in their language and they didn't have multi-language support. This is kind of like a hybrid game. I remember that it has lots of strategy. And also, if you look at the back, it has multiplayer, 1 to 2 players, which I don't remember. And I think nobody played it with me. We played Halo mostly together, my friends and mine. It has memory card support. It has Dolby Digital support, which is great because I'm running my Xbox connected to a 5.1 system. It has communicator headset support. So this was a full-on Xbox Live title. I don't know if it's Insignia enabled, but probably it is. It has online multiplayer, stats, friends, voice, and actually DLC. This was one of the first games that had DLC. Oh my god, what a nostalgia trip. Sadly, one thing I'm very, very not happy about is that I asked the guy if there is manuals inside, and he said that there is manuals inside, and in this one, there wasn't a manual inside. So it's not CAB, it's not complete and boxed. which I'm not too happy about it, but I guess that was just like a mistake. So there you go. Next up, an absolute belter of a game, if you ask me. Jade Empire, from the good BioWare, the good people of BioWare. Developed by BioWare Corp. BioWare Corp of the yesteryear. BioWare Corp that actually ruled, in a way. Here is the thing with what I just told you. It's in German and I prefer English, really. This is the only downside of me buying this. This, by the way, was by far the most expensive game that I hauled home. It is, again, by the makers of the Game of the Year of 2003. That was KOTOR, of course. Jade Empire is a classic BioWare game. So you get real role-playing in a rather linear fashion. Okay, do not forget that KOTOR and Jade Empire, they have been rather linear. But what I truly, absolutely, really, really enjoy so much and prefer over KOTOR is the real-time fighting system. I'm not a huge fan of, round-based fighting systems. I like real-time fighting systems, always did. I prefer Morrowind, Fable over KOTOR, the fighting system. I love KOTOR for what it is, but I do not prefer this style of fighting system in role-playing games. This game really sucked me in. I'm in the middle of the game right now. It doesn't have like a tremendously long runtime, which I think is a good thing. It's classic BioWare. That means that it has great characters, good writing, a little bit antiquated, and especially it seems so much more antiquated because of the poor German translation, in my opinion. Although I didn't go and like A/B everything. I know BioWare's writing, and therefore I know that it's like, yeah, that's not how they wrote it, and the German translation is kind of ass. But wow, what a game. So, you can play this on Steam, but you're going to have the first, I watched another YouTube video where somebody said like, the first end boss that you have is going to get this game to run. And I'm playing this on the Xbox 360. It has an unlocked frame rate as far as I can tell, and some moments with performance issues. Therefore, I'm not even entirely sure if that was the right call. But now I'm like, locked in, and I started on the Xbox 360, so I'm going to continue on the Xbox 360. But I might check it at some point to see if it's better on the original Xbox, because I think that those extreme hitches due to the unlocked frame rate, they don't happen on the OG Xbox, as far as I remember. Nevertheless, it's not like game-breaking or anything. It's like short moments, and this is not a game. It's not a Twitch shooter or anything like that. The artwork is so amazing. The artwork of the thing. And the CD is not in. It's in the Xbox right now, but yeah. And this is a stellar copy of Jade Empire. That's why the guy took more than double for this one, for example, in comparison to the others. Which I understand. And to be honest with you, I was like, okay, fuck it. You know what I mean? It's like, I want it, so I want it. And then I had this moment, which reminded me on my childhood so much. And this was when I was reading this text. Because that was standard. You bought your game that you anticipated highly from, example, a BioWare title. And then you bought it and you went home and you were like, oh my god, you're reading about the characters, you're getting into the world, This is where the game began. This is where the game began. This is where the game began. The game began in your mind. Okay? Amazing. And sad that this got lost. I do not understand how gaming companies are investing billions and hundreds of millions into production, and then they cheap out on this physical presentation. which makes it pure magic, you know? Like, we are triggered as humans to react to physical objects. So I don't get it. As you can see, it's beautifully layouted with monsters and generally a themed kind of layout. Here you see the actual jewel. So this is where it transcends the digital world, and this magic, I cannot explain to you how much this means to me and how it is okay that I paid double the price even for this, and I'm totally fine with it. And yes, I could have played it on the PC, and I am happy that I didn't, because this is where the magic lies. I tell you that quite honestly. Okay, let's go to our next game. I was kind of surprised. I knew that it was good. I played it back then. It's known that it's like kind of a goat of a game. It's XIII, a game that is held in cel-shaded look. And I mean, the cover makes it clear. This is like pure style. The whole presentation, you are in a comic book, okay? You are like in a comic strip with this game. The first person shooter. Really tight game. Nice gameplay. The shooting is a bit not perfect in my opinion, like the shooting mechanics. But everything else, the presentation, the level design. In the middle of the game, you are on the rooftops, for example, with Jones. That is that character, the lady. And you have a grappling hook, and how they made the colors, you know, it's so simple. Very simple textures, very simple graphics in a way, and they absolutely nailed it. It looks just beautiful, like really, really astonishing. And the remake is a piece of shit. So they completely destroyed the remake. They took the comic strip sequences and made them real-time graphics, and it's abysmal. And yes, this is the first 3D shooter, they say in the back, in the comic style. And they might be right. This is long before Borderlands, of course. Long before that. And nowadays, we know that those games from the early 2000s and in general, cel-shaded games, they just hold up tremendously well. And so does XIII. I think it's a game full of style and about style also, with an intriguing murder mystery that you get pulled in immediately. The president has been killed, and the CIA and the FBI and everybody is involved, and it's a big conspiracy, a mystery, and you're just like immediately dragged in. There's not overly much explained to you. It's just like, oh my god, I have to run. What the fuck? There is goons. Let's shoot them. You know, and then like the whole thing unravels, and then characters pop up, characters die, you're suddenly end up in Winslow Bank, and like there is a moment of peace, and then it just ramps up into total action again. It's a great game. It's just a great game. So am I happy with my haul? XIII, Jade Empire, Kingdom Under Fire, Heroes, and Yager. Absolutely. How much did I pay? It's a bit complicated because I gave 7 really bad games to the shop where I bought it that I really didn't want to have in my collection. So I paid around 30 euros for the 4 games, I think, around. Like with the one being the most expensive, being Jade Empire. But it's a little bit tough to say because, like, of course, I got some rebate, you know? Like, so you can say I got 10 euros for the games that I gave back. And then that is 5 euro. Incredible price. Then that is 6, 13. So 11. And then you have here Jade Empire. Pretty stellar copy, all in all, for 12. So that's 23. 23 and 6 is... yeah, 29 in total, basically. 29 in total I paid, and it was truly worth it. Guys, without further ado, I hope that you enjoyed this format. I know it's something like unexpected. Maybe you didn't expect it, you know, like I didn't come out with content for a long time. And yeah, I just did it spontaneously. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, then absolutely leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're interested in gaming. As you can see, I have great love for the medium. And we got a capture card now, so I actually could record gameplay and so forth. So, like, if you want to support the channel, absolutely share this video with your fellow gamers. Like it and leave a comment. And, of course, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all the good stuff. Without further ado, much love. Don't forget that you're beautiful. Peace out, and I see you guys next time. Cheerio.